Well, staying with the story and joining us now in studio for more is our international news editor, Sophie Mokoena. Sophie, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Now, what do you make of this latest development, especially at a time where it is coming, after those U.S. allegations that South Africa has supplied weapons to Russia?
Well, I think the Defence Force did clarify. It is not the first time. I mean, the Minister of Defence has visited Russia on many occasions, and it is not the only relationship that is there in terms of the Defence Force. They do have different friends around the world where they do sometimes embark on military exercise. But of course, the timing, and at the time where there's this big story around Lady R, definitely there will be interest in terms of this visit, but this is not the first time.
Of course, all eyes on South Africa. You also spoke to the president of the Comoros, who is, the current AU chair, about the Ukraine war. Any indications on whether or not he is on the same page as President Cyril Ramaphosa?
Well, yesterday, indeed, I posed a question to the president of Comoros, and he is currently the chair of the African Union in terms of the impact of this war on the continent. He pointed out that it is going to affect food security. He also pointed out that the issue of fertilizers will be a big challenge because many countries do get fertilizers from either Ukraine or Russia, and they do get grain from either Russia or Ukraine, and therefore this is a huge problem for poorer countries and developing nations. He pointed out that the European Union, some member countries have spoken to the African Union, requesting the African Union to mediate or to come up with a program where they can ensure that the two leaders are able to come to the negotiating table in terms of paving way for a peace process. As President Ramaphosa pointed out, now we know that 6 heads of state will be traveling to Moscow and Kyiv to try and interact with the two leaders. And the president has indicated that he did speak to President Vladimir Putin. We saw that readout from Kremlin, and he did point out that he also spoke to President Zelensky of Ukraine, and therefore President Zelensky is also agreeing to this mission. But let's take a listen at what the president of Comoros, who is currently the chair of the AU, had to say about the role of Africa in trying to mediate.
The discussion that I had with Zelensky, and I'm envisaging to have the discussions with Putin and Charles Michel in Brussels, Europeans are saying that we are better placed to come up with a solution because you are a judge, you are the judges, and we cannot be judges and parties. So, in any case, all the efforts that should be made to end this war should be commended. And I would like to pay a tribute to my predecessor, Macky Sall, who has made some endeavors, but I will try to do my best in order to come up with a solution to this war, which is really having negative consequences, especially when it comes to food.
All right, that was the AU chair. Now, Sophie, has there been any reaction from the United Nations as yet?
Well, yesterday, Shawan Bryce-Pease did ask a question to the spokesperson of the SG. He pointed out that they haven't received a briefing, but this morning President Ramaphosa pointed out that he spoke to the SG, and I think that happened late last night because you know that because of the time difference, it was possible for the president to speak to the SG later.
All right, thank you so much for that update. Sophie Mokoena is our international news editor right here at the SABC.